Okay, so I'm going to try this again. I'm really low in resin right now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour my base first. So I'm going to make a dark blue base on the very bottom, and then I'm going to make my ocean color and make some waves and then let it set overnight. So I'll start. I don't have a cameraman, so I'll just show you what happens afterwards as I go. How's that? Okay, so I put my little bit of navy at the very bottom of that. And now I'm going to go with a lighter color above it. Okay, this time I went with ocean, and I'm going to put in a couple more layers of ocean. I might mix it up with something else. Just try to get some depth there. And I'm not too concerned with bubbles, but you know, it's always a good idea to, there we go. But you know, I'm just trying to get some nice blue in there. So here we go. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of mica powder this time and a little bit of blue. So you can see I have it there. And then after this, I'm gonna let it set for probably about 15 minutes before adding my waves. Just a tiny bit of mica powder there. You can see it kind of boiling. It's kind of cool. So now I've got some nice colors in there, and I'm gonna mix it around a little bit, just to give it a little bit of, you know, this little color, you know, little depth. Why not? See, the mica powder adds a nice shimmer. So there we go. And then I'm gonna let this sit before I do anything with the ocean. So I'll do that in a moment. Okay, now I've taken my casting craft and put 5 drops in my little funnel here that I'm gonna do some waves with. Okay, so now I've poured some of that stuff in there, and I'm gonna take my heat gun and move that around. And if I had a cameraman, I'd show you how I do it. Okay, I'm trying to be my own camera person here. So I got the heat gun, I'm just gonna move this around. I go too much in there, it'll start smoking. Let's see, I got some ripples going on there. There we go. That's the kind of thing I want to see. I just want that kind of idea to be going on underneath what I'm going to come back and do. So I've got some nice little ocean ripple effects there, and now I can pretty much go to sleep knowing that this will be working overnight for me. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Okay, I did another pass. I had a little white left over, so I did another pass. So now I'll just leave it alone. Okay, so it's the next morning, and there's my piece with the wave on it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another blue layer and ripple it up with some plastic. Okay, so what I've done here is I've mixed up 4 drops of my navy alcohol ink into this little cup here, about I would say not even an ounce of resin. I didn't need to mix up that much resin, and I'm almost out. Yeah. So I'm going to see if this is dark enough. I don't want it to be opaque because I want it to show my wave work through it when it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up and see what I come up with. Okay, I put in a little bit, and I've got some goobers that are hanging around the inside of my silicone cup. Time for me to clean all my cups. So, but you know, in this case, the goober might be good to have it in there because it will add texture, because that's what this layer is about, texture. So I'm going to continue on mixing, and I'm going to pour it in just a second. And then I'll show you how I do the plastic up as best as I can with one hand. It's hard to see through these bubbles. I want to make sure that this is transparent enough to see through what I did. If it's not, I'm going to pour it off of here and dilute the color further, because I'm not sure. No, it's not very, it's too opaque. So don't worry, we can fix it. Okay, I think this is a little better. It's really bubbly because it's kind of cold in this room, and okay, I can see a hint of it. Yeah, I can see it under there. So I think this will probably be okay. So now I'm going to do my plastic. And all I do is I just take a hunk of plastic. I had my hunk of plastic put aside here, and now I don't see it. And I'm sitting here with one hand. So let's see. Yeah, I don't know what, I think it's on the, oh, it's on the floor. Okay, never mind. Let's reach down here. I just have a hunk of a cheap plastic bag. So I'm just going to put it there and ripple it a bit. I'm going to try to get some more bubbles out with my heat gun. Okay, didn't make much of a difference, but you know, bubbles at this point I'm not concerned about. The bubbles that I will be concerned about is when I do the sky portion, but this is not the sky portion. This is just the ocean. And you notice I've got some over here on top of my mold. I'm going to scrape that off because otherwise my mold isn't going to seal later and it's going to spill, and I'm going to have yet another mishap. So this is the third one of these I'm trying this way. 3 is a charm. So although I can't show you exactly what I'm going to do, I've laid the plastic here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down and bank it so most of the resin is up at this end, and then I'm going to ripple. I wish I could show you this, but I don't have a cameraman, and cameraman would be very grumpy if I went and woke him up because it's kind of early on a Sunday morning. That's not early for me. I get up early. I'm crazy. Anyway, here we go. Okay, my first step is I've pushed down the resin underneath my plastic at the front of it. See, you can see my ocean waves there. So now it's in a mound back here. So now I'm going to manage this mound back here. Okay, so there it is. What I've done is I've pinched it. I still am keeping this pretty much pressed down, but I pinched those pieces. Those are going to be my waves, and they're going to be rough edges at some point. Those are great though. Those work out really well for the white caps. So I might tweak it just a little bit more before I leave it alone for several hours. Okay, and there you have it. Now I'm going to leave this alone for several hours. So we'll come back, and now I've got overflow resin to deal with, but I have one of my soon-to-be world famous, famous in my own house. This is one of my overflow pyramids, and I always keep molds like this around so that way when I have overpour like this, I can just have at it. So we'll be back this afternoon when I can paint my white caps on. Okay, it's the next morning. The event is about to happen, but I'm not crazy that didn't fill in right there, but let's see what we got. Okay, I don't even have the mold half off yet, but I see what I see. Oh, and I'm loving it. I just don't like the top because I got this stupid thing right there. So what I'm gonna do, and I don't like to mix mediums, but I'm going to fill that in with UV gel right now and cure it with UV light because I don't want to wait another 12 hours or whatever. But I will note, yeah, you can see my original wave work in there, but anyway, I think this came out really nice. More later. Okay, I don't even have the mold half off yet, but I see what I see. Oh, and I'm loving it. I just don't like the top because I got this stupid thing right there. So what I'm gonna do, and I don't like to mix mediums, but I'm gonna fill that in with UV gel right now and cure it with UV light because I don't want to wait another 12 hours or whatever. But I will note, yeah, you can see my original wave work in there, but anyway, I think this came out really nice. More later. So here it is. I've got some finish work to do. So I've got some flashing to remove and a little bit of sanding, unfortunately, to do. I hate it because that means I have to sand and sand and sand and buff and then take some clear nail polish because I don't know how to get it back to that glass-like luster. Maybe I'll look back on this video and go, oh, well, I know how to do that now. Sure gonna work on it. Anyway, but there it is. So I got the effect that I was looking for. What I'm gonna do now is do a medium-sized pyramid with this effect inside of it. And I created a mold so I can work from the bottom up on the pyramid. So that's next, but there it is.